Welcome and anchor down. JT still here from the Vanderbilt campus. Unfortunately, Zach and I will not be able to record together this week. Not until at least next Sunday, as it is the Vanderbilt Thanksgiving break, and he's already on his way home. With that said, I've got you covered today. Hopefully he can fill you in a little bit about the Maui Invitational with a podcast later in the week, or maybe just some tweets. With that said, we really wish you a happy, safe, fun Thanksgiving. Hopefully you have some really good turkey, ham, mac and cheese, whatever it is that you eat. And, hopefully you're eating that food knowing that your Vanderbilt Commodores are Maui Invitational champions. I was just saying, that'd be really cool. It's possible. Anyways, probably supposed to talk about yesterday. I don't want to, but whatever, I'll do it. So, yesterday, women's cross country, 19th in the nation. Hats off to them. Great performance. Fortunately, I think there's something else you want to hear about yesterday. Maybe you don't want to hear it. I don't really want to talk about it too much, but we'll go into it, and that's the football game. 25-0 against Texas A&M. And A&M's a really good team. That's a game going into the season. You don't expect to win it. Even going into yesterday, we didn't expect to win it, but still, it was a 3.5-point margin. That's what was expected, and we lose 25-0. Miserable game, really cold. I couldn't even stay for the whole thing. That's how cold I was. And for that reason, I sometimes feel like I can't blame the players too much for not playing well. But at the same time, you have Texas A&M coming from College Station, Texas. They're not used to the cold, so it really isn't an excuse. It was a bad game, though. 23 passing yards. 23. I want you to get that in your head. I know you know it's horrible, but just think about it even more. 23 yards. I could throw for 23 yards with my left hand. My blind, three-legged dog could throw for 23 yards. Rosie O'Donnell could throw for 23 yards. That's just so bad. If you think about it, there are probably 100 college football plays that were more than 23 yards passing yesterday. It's just pathetic. And it makes you think. Last 3 losses by Vandy, we've combined for 97 passing yards. That's 3 games within the last 4. 97 combined. It's an average of 33 and a third per game. 32 and a third per game. That's abysmal. 97 in 3 games. Almost every other team gets that in one half of a football game. It's got to make you think, what does the future hold for this offense? Now, I know we have one more game left against Tennessee, and that's a really good team. In my opinion, maybe the most talented in the entire SEC East. Obviously, Florida has a better record, but this is a Tennessee team that only lost by 1 to Florida, and that was when Will Grier was playing. This Tennessee team's really talented. Josh Dobbs at quarterback, Alvin Kamara, and Jalen Hurd at the running backs. They also have Jashawn Robertson, someone you guys may all be familiar with from NBA, committed to Vandy for the longest time, decommits, goes to Tennessee, good O-lineman there, and Derek Barnett on defense, Cam Sutton at cornerback. This is a really talented team. Like I said, I think it might be the most talented in the SEC East. Not going to be an easy game, but anyways, I'm not going to make a prediction on that. We'll worry about it later. Point is, there's only 1 week left in the season. I'm really looking towards the future at this point, and the question is, can Kyle Shurmur be that guy? 3 for 12, 19 yards yesterday, a pick. Some days he's looked like he's a baller, and you can tell, you know what, this guy could be good in the future. Other days you say, wow, this guy has no potential. He's just not good enough. And he's a true freshman. I'll cut him some slack. He wasn't expecting to play at all this year, it seems like. And I want to say he gives us a better chance than McCreary, but it's almost hard to say. It makes you think, though, this guy at quarterback, with an entire offseason. Can he get it done? Can he improve? Can he become a smarter player? Can he build the chemistry with the wide receivers? And I don't know. It seems like the answer might be no. And if it is, there's no hope for this offense. And the offense is the unit that will dictate how far we can go next year. Because the defense, we know they'll be good. Everyone returns other than Azubike and the safeties. I'm not too concerned about losing the safeties, to be honest. I'm not overly concerned about losing Azubike. The defense will be better. The offense, they return just about everyone also, and they'll be better. At the least, Shurmur will improve, Webb will improve, everyone will. But a little bit of improvement, that's not enough. We need a lot of improvement from these guys, especially the quarterback position. You look at the rest of the country, it baffles me. Every other school seems to have a quarterback. How don't we have one? It makes no sense. Even D1 AA schools, or FCS schools, I guess they're called, even they have better quarterbacks a lot of the time. It's kind of sad. Like I said, it's baffling. I don't understand it. Maybe Shurmur's just too young right now, and he'll grow into himself next year. I don't know. But you look at a school like Northwestern, currently ranked 20th or 19th, and after the win yesterday, they're only going to move up. And why is Northwestern better than us? I mean, can you imagine a colder place? Yesterday's game was miserable. That's like every day in Evanston, Illinois. And, I mean, come on, Evanston, Illinois versus Nashville? That's a joke. I mean, who can they recruit? They're in Illinois. They're in the Big Ten opposed to the SEC. There's no reason Northwestern should be better than we are at football. And I'm not picking on them. I guess I am, but I don't mean to. It's a great school. I just don't understand why they are significantly better than we are right now. And I guess I do understand why. It's all the quarterback play. And it really bothers me. I mean, like I said, can Shurmur step up? That's the big question. But my point is, there's no reason Northwestern should be better than we are. We really need to find the solution at quarterback. And we have Deuce Wallace coming in next year, but it's too much to expect a true freshman to come in and resurrect an offense. Maybe that's what we expected from Shurmur, which is too much. We should give him more time, I guess. It's just all too hard to tell. But if I were to take my best guess, it's hard to see there being too much hope for this offense. That concerns me. I have my fingers crossed. Hopefully things can change. Back to the game yesterday, 25-0. Ralph Webb, 25 rushes for 79 yards, 3.2 yards per carry. Not good, not the worst thing ever. But the offense just didn't move at all. 148 total yards. That we were more than tripled by Texas A&M, who had 486 yards. And this isn't an A&M defense that shuts out opponents. It's pretty mediocre defense, to tell you the truth. So, 148 yards. You can tell we have a problem offensively. We really have not improved in that unit at all this season, and that's concerning. Like I said, it's all about the offseason. Can they make the improvements they need to make this a legitimate team? If they can become good, we could be a really threatening team to face next year. I just don't know at this point, though. Can Kyle Shurmur make that improvement? And that improvement needs to be pretty significant. He doesn't need to become a great quarterback. If he could become half of what like Trevor Siemian is for Northwestern, that might be enough for us to be an 8-win team in the SEC. This year it would have been. Imagine if we had General Patton. We'd be looking at 9-10 wins. We'd maybe be favored in every game. Western Kentucky would have been a win. South Carolina definitely a win. Even Georgia, Ole Miss. A lot of these games would have been wins. Houston would have gone differently at the least. I don't know, just saying. Anyways, I think I'm done talking about football. Obviously, there's not too much to be optimistic about. We have Tennessee next week. It's a rivalry game. You never know what's going to happen in those. I mean, Texas beat Oklahoma. That's a huge mismatch. The worst team won. Sometimes that happens in rivalries. Don't count us out. Hopefully we can get that 5th win. If we do, we're potentially in a bowl game. I don't know if I even want a bowl, though. 5-win bowl game. That's kind of sad. It'll be sponsored by some, like, toenail clipping company. Those things are ridiculous. Way too many bowl games, but that's for another day. So, more optimistic. We've got the Maui Invitational starting this week, Monday. against St. John's. I'm really excited for it. Really, it's going to be the highlight of my Thanksgiving break. Just sitting on the couch, eating food, watching Vandy basketball. ESPN2 tomorrow. I think it's 3:30 Eastern time. 2:30 Eastern time, 1:30 Central. It should be a good game. St. John's isn't too good. I don't expect them to be as good as Stony Brook, and I guess I'll talk a little bit about Stony Brook right now, actually, before I go into the Maui. Great finish. Obviously not our best game, but it was a tough week academically. Maybe the players weren't entirely focused. Damien obviously didn't have a good game, but the fact is we played poorly and we came out on top after losing most of the game, and it was almost the opposite all of last year. I think that is a really good sign that we pulled off a close one this early in the season. Hopefully we don't have too many close ones like that, but I mean, the Maui Invitational, we likely will. This is a different team. That's all I can say. It's a different team from last year. Last year, there's no way we would have won that if it were that close the whole time. We almost always blew the close games. We had that one overtime win. Other than that, we never won. We never won those close ones. We already have one of those, so that's a good thing. Also, Wade Baldwin, absolute stud. I would hate to see the guy go after this year, but if I were him, I think I'd leave. If he's going to be projected as a top 40 pick in the NBA, it almost only makes sense. He's the complete package. He's the real deal. Think about it. He can shoot threes. He can drive to the rim. He's a great defender. He has good size for a point guard, 6'3". So much passion. A great leader. He's not missing anything. He could be a really good NBA player. And it's almost hard to see what he's getting out of college at this point, or at least after this season. He seems, very well developed already. If he's projected in the top 40, like I said, I could easily see him leaving, and I'd hate to see both him and Damien leave in the same season. That would not be good for the team. We have so much depth, I think we'd be fine. We'd still probably be ranked, honestly, but it would be a huge hit. He's that good, though, and wow, he could be, the difference maker in this season. Obviously, we need Damien to play better than he did last game. We need Luke to play better than he did last game. Obviously, his defensive presence was good, but the shots just weren't falling. I expect that to change, and, as we've mentioned, Luke is really improved. The fact that his shots didn't fall, that's not him getting worse or anything. That's just a bad game. Some days you're off. What he needs to realize is that if you're missing your shots, sometimes you just need to stop. You don't want to double down on your shooting efforts and miss even more. You just need to get the ball to the people that are hot. And last game, that was Riley LaChance and Wade Baldwin. On to the Maui, though. So, like I said, we have St. John's tomorrow. I fully expect us to win that. Assuming the favorites win every game, we have Indiana after that. And Indiana's a pretty good team. It's tough to say. They only beat Austin Peay by 26. They also kept their starters in all for over 20 minutes in that game. It's pretty close at halftime, actually. They did beat Creighton, though, who tends to be a good basketball team. And Indiana, they have Justin Blackman, Yogi Farrell, Thomas Bryant, and Troy Williams. That's 4 really, really good players. Could easily see us beating them, but that's a tough team. If we win that quality win. And if you get to the finals, you most likely have Kansas, who has Brandon Green out, who I think is their 3rd or 4th leading scorer, great shooter. They still have Perry Ellis and Wayne Selden, but that's a team that kind of vulnerable. They already have that one loss against Michigan State. Obviously, Valentine had the triple-double. You can't blame anyone for losing against a Michigan State team that's that good. But the point is, this Kansas team is beatable. Big 12 teams tend to be a bit shaky, a bit inconsistent. Kansas definitely is one of those teams. Maybe Texas and Baylor, who we have later, will also, be that way, a bit inconsistent. I could see us winning it all. I'm going to throw it out there. My best bet is that we do win it all. Maybe I'm a bit too optimistic, but we have so much depth. I love our team so much. That said, Zach and I, we talked about this, Vandy's ranking. We expect to go into the tournament ranked maybe 15 or 16, jump a couple of spots. Obviously, the Stony Brook close game won't help us too much, but a few teams ahead of us lost, so expect us to jump up 1 or 2 maybe. in terms of what will happen after the Maui, though, because that's what will really determine our ranking. Lose to St. John's, we're unranked. That's simple. You lose 2 games in the tournament, unranked. Now, you beat St. John's, you lose to Indiana, and say we face UCLA in the championship, but we beat UCLA. We both agreed we'd probably stay relatively put, maybe drop 2 spots or so just for losing a game. But, I mean, Indiana wouldn't be a bad loss. Say we beat Indiana, we make it to the championship of the Maui. I cannot see us, not jumping to at least like 13, 14 if that happens. We make it to the finals, we're moving up. If we win it all, we win the Maui, at least top 10, maybe 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th even. I mean, you win the Maui Invitational, you beat Indiana and Kansas in the same week. There might not be a single team in the country with 2 quality wins like that. I hope it happens. Like I said, that's my best prediction, that we are going to win the Maui. Wade Baldwin, so good. Riley LeChance, such a good scorer. Luke and Damian, 7-foot monsters. It's hard to defend us. Roberson's looked good. We're just so much depth. I hope the rebounding can improve. Damian, his one problem, his one weakness, or biggest weakness at least, is that he doesn't box out well enough. He gets some rebounds. His rebounding has improved, I've noticed, but he doesn't box out. They're all either balls just landing into his hands or him jumping. He's got to use that big body to his advantage. Maybe develop some more post-game moves also. His shots looked pretty good, though. That's something that you love to see. Maybe he'll use that a little more, at least when he's wide open. Good shot for someone his size. Anyways, in Maui Invitational, Monday through Wednesday, definitely the highlight of my break. I can't wait to watch us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's all I have for today, but look, bad game yesterday. We got to shake it off. Hopefully we play better against Tennessee. And I'm really looking ahead to next year. Can Shurmur make those improvements that we need to see from him for our team to be legit? And right now we don't know. I really have my fingers crossed for that, because we could be really good if Shurmur becomes a legitimate quarterback. Like I said, I don't understand how Northwestern is that much better than we are. We just need to we need to develop a quarterback to be as good as a guy like Trevor Siemian. It's not like he's an absolute stud. We just need someone all right. And, basketball, looking good so far. Stony Brook, not our best win, but still a quality win. Stony Brook did lose yesterday, though, against Western Kentucky. Kind of concerns me a little bit. Western Kentucky is a solid team, though. Nothing to be too worried about. And we all know it wasn't our best game. We're going to play better than that. And when you know that you play a bad game and you still get the win, that makes you happy. And think about it. Had we lost that going all the way to Hawaii, that's a long plane ride. That's a long, long ride. It would be hard to go into the Maui optimistic. Now that we're 3-0, though, I think the team must be really confident. They get to play on national television. Big tournament against good teams. I'm sure they're excited. Didn't mention Nolan Kressler yet. He's looked really good past few games. I'm sure he's so happy to be out there on the court again. I've loved watching him. But anyways, I think that's all I've got for you today. Stay tuned. Zach may give you some updates with a future podcast this week. If not, we'll probably record next Sunday. Stay tuned on the Twitter, JT and Zeek, at VU Sports Podcast. Make sure to shoot us a subscription. And look, anchor down. Have a great Thanksgiving break. Watch the Maui Invitational. And let's beat those Tennessee Vols. Thank you for tuning in, and anchor down.